live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us for 2 News Live tonight. I am Heidi Hatch. It is Friday, February 9th. We are going in depth tonight on the very latest developments in the fallout from the social media post made by Utah State Board of Education member Natalie Cline. You probably heard about it by now. As we go in depth tonight, you can always get in touch with us during the show. Use the hashtag 2 News Live. You can join in that conversation. You can always find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. TV Heidi Hatch. Send me a direct message if you'd like to weigh in. More fallout tonight from the now deleted social media post by Utah Board of Education member Natalie Cline that misgendered a high school basketball player, mistakenly implying the girl was a boy. Today, the Utah House unanimously deciding to move forward on opening a resolution to hold Cline accountable for the post that led to a student being targeted now on social media. Brian Malahy talked to lawmakers today. And Brian, what could be included in this resolution and what happens next?
Well, we don't know what's in the resolution. The resolution is blank right now because the legislature has not decided on a course of action. Situation is that lawmakers are going to be talking about this over the weekend. Impeachment has been an idea that has been floated. That concept and that scenario became in much more focus today. Here's what the legislators are saying, that if there were impeachment, Natalie Cline would be barred from holding political office in Utah, not just now, but going forward. And so impeachment is a big step. Lawmakers say all options are on the table. This is coming from both parties. But right now, we don't have any language in that resolution. That may likely be coming next week. This is a distraction for the legislature, to be sure. Lots of work to do and something that was totally not expected.
All right, Brian Malahy live from the Capitol for us tonight. We'll be watching this closely as it progresses through the week. Criminal defense attorney Skye Lazaro joining us in studio to discuss some of the legal issues involved in this incident. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Heidi.
So there's been a lot of talk about the First Amendment, and Natalie Cline, when she posts on Facebook, usually writes in parentheses at the top that this is constitutionally protected speech, which gives you an idea that what she's posting is sometimes out there to push some buttons. In this case, she wasn't just pushing political buttons. She was posting about a teenage girl, and we know the ramifications that come from that on social media. Is this protected, or is there anything about this that wouldn't be protected? Because sometimes things are protected by the First Amendment and not nice, but still protected legally.
That's correct. You can say a lot of things about a lot of people and have it be protected speech. In this case, I would say it's not protected. The reason is it was defamatory. And defamatory speech doesn't have any First Amendment protection. So it could be a civil defamation or criminal defamation for knowingly putting something out there that exposes someone to hate or ridicule. You know, in this case, the girl is clearly harmed because she's now got police escorts and all sorts of things.
Yeah, people are talking about her. We spoke to her family yesterday, and I think it had become too much where she wanted to come home from school, which is frustrating because when you look at the position, which might play into all of this, Natalie Cline is in a position of power and also someone that you would think would be protecting students on the State Board of Education for schools. So does that play into it at all if you were to look at possible charges because of the position she has and what she was saying at the time?
I think definitely, and just to be clear, saying that the student is transgender is not, or making that statement isn't necessarily the problem. The problem is she was essentially impugning that she was cheating or getting a benefit by being somebody she wasn't. Because she sits in such a high place, her statements come with another level of credibility, being who she is. So I think that does open her up to a lot more. Our Constitution allows for removal of elected officials for malfeasance or official misconduct, which defamation certainly could rise to that level.
So if charges eventually happened, would they have to come from the family? Because I'm sure that's a difficult decision too. I'm assuming at this point they would like everything to go away and not have to deal with this, because if you do file legal charges, this is going to be something that's in the spotlight, in in media's attention and something people are talking about for a long ways? Or is this something that could be made decision-wise where charges were filed by someone outside of the family?
So it could be one or both. There's civil remedies for defamation, and the family would have to bring those on behalf of the minor child. And those usually end up getting resolved with some sort of monetary settlement because they're civil in nature. Criminal charges are brought by the state. Now, they would still have to show that she knowingly, knew that the statement was false when she made it and put it out there. So, there is a mens rea that the state would have to overcome in order to file charges if they wanted to pursue criminal charges. But, those would have to come from the state, not necessarily the family.
And interestingly enough, she is an employee, I would assume, of the state, being on the state board. And usually the Attorney General's office would then be the defense on that case. So the state could file the charges and then they would also have to defend her as well?
I think it would. I'm not sure how that would play out. If it's criminal, they may not offer a defense for her. She may have to go hire her own attorney and wouldn't have any sort of immunity or anything like that a state official would.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing all of your thoughts on this. I know it's a complicated one. Thanks so much for being with us today, Skye. Well, we do want to know what you think about this issue. Should Natalie Cline's comments about a student, that's a teen, be protected under free speech? Right now, there's more than 1,000 votes last time we checked in on this poll. The majority of you right now, 81% say no, she went too far. 19% see that she could still be protected by the First Amendment. Got to talk a little weather as we head into the weekend. Meteorologist Trent Parker is here with us right now to talk about it. Rain all week long, and we switched over. Finally got some snow at my house, Trent.
Yeah, just a little bit, I'm guessing?
Maybe an inch or two is it.
Okay, well, that's pretty much what we got here across the Wasatch Front. Most places reporting between a trace of snow to maybe up as much as 4 inches here in northern Utah, but we saw a little bit of those higher amounts towards Cache County and then down in southern and central Utah, and of course the Wasatch back. Over the last 24 to 36 hours, it has been non-stop snowing in Park City. Let's go ahead and take a look at your forecast, and let's see what we're looking at tonight. The first thing that I want to address is the February precipitation. We've been talking about this the last couple of days because we've just been so wet. We've already gotten 2.41 inches so far this month, just through the first 9 days here of this February month. It is the wettest February in 26 years, and if we were to just stop right now, roll things over to the end of the month, we would be sitting at the 10th wettest February of all time. So that's at least as low as we'll go over the next couple of weeks. We could get a higher spot here towards the end of February if the wet weather continues into the rest of the month. Got some scattered snow showers here in northern Utah, most of which are falling up towards Brigham City, up towards Sardine Summit, and a couple light snow showers now starting to wrap up here in Utah County. We saw some locally heavy snow here between Spanish Fork and Santaquin over the last couple of hours through the early afternoon, making some slippery messes out there on I-15. And then southwestern Utah just starting to fill in tonight. We've got more snow coming for you. We could see some pretty good snow amounts here from about Cove Fort down through Cedar City tonight, with those snow showers continuing up in the higher elevations, including Bryce Canyon. Here's a little bit of a closer look. We've got some snow now starting to fill in towards the northern end of Cedar City, towards Enoch, and then another batch of snow working its way from the west towards downtown Beaver. That'll be there over the next 30 minutes to maybe a full hour. And as a result, we do still have winter weather advisories for these western deserts here across central Utah, where we could see easily 1 to 4 inches. That goes through tomorrow. We've also got that winter weather advisory for the eastern Book Cliffs in eastern Utah. Future track shows those snow showers starting to lighten up tonight here in northern Utah, but it continues down across central Utah. Like I said, from about Scipio Summit down through Cedar City, we could see some measurable snowfall on the roadways. Northeastern Utah even getting a little bit of snow tonight, and then that low works its way east. We're left with a couple light scattered snow showers across southeastern Utah for the day on Saturday, but most of the state really should be dry heading through much of the weekend. And of course, Sunday, the big day, clear skies here in Utah. It'll be great grilling weather, although it will be a little bit cold here across the Wasatch Front. We're looking for those temperatures in the mid-30s by the afternoon, dropping into the 20s overnight with partly cloudy skies. And if you're down in Vegas, or if you're perhaps just wondering what the weather's going to be like for the football players out on the field, well, it will be very nice. Perfect football weather. The kind of temperatures that we deal with around Thanksgiving, the perfect football season, they're back, they're here. Las Vegas will be in the 50s through much of that game, into the 40s overnight with those partly cloudy skies as well down there in southern Nevada. Partly cloudy skies in St. George tomorrow. Maybe a couple flurries, especially before sunrise. We'll be in the mid to upper 40s through Monday. Then we're in the 50s through the rest of next week. And then here's your 7+2, only on 2. The mid 50s are here to stay through at least Saturday and Sunday, with potentially another wet storm system arriving in the 8 to 9 day period. Partly cloudy skies here in Salt Lake City. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s through the weekend, into the 40s through all of next week. Maybe even a 50 there on Thursday. And here's those final 2. Saturday in the 50s as well, and potentially a mix of rain and snow on Sunday. So we'll be watching that. And then Heidi, just a couple more weeks until spring is here. 21 days until meteorological spring, which is on March 1st. 39 days until the astronomical spring, which this year the spring equinox is on March 19th. So that's a little bit interesting. Usually it's on the 21st, 22nd, somewhere around there, but it's coming a little bit early this year.
I'll take it.
I guess it's because we have 29 days in February. That'll move it up, right?
Leap year will do it all to us, and I'm happy to see some sun on the forecast. A lot of people are planning for next weekend already. President's Day, there's a lot of tournaments outdoors.
It's going to be busy.
It looks like it's going to be busy, but nice.
Very nice.
All right, sign me up for that. Trent, thank you very much. Remember to download our 2 News weather app. You can't always have Trent with you if you want to know how things are changing where you're at. Get updated forecasts, live radar right on your phone. The app is free and easy to download. All right, this weekend we're talking about the Super Bowl. We are now 2 days away from Super Bowl 58. A lot of celebrity chefs are serving up great food for the big game. Brian Schnee is in Las Vegas and caught up with Chef Andrew Zimmern, who shared his thoughts about the Salt Lake City food scene.
Where does Salt Lake City fit in the mix here in terms of food?
Salt Lake City is growing because all cities are growing. And I would bet you in 8-9 years, we will be talking about Salt Lake City as the best kept small city secret, even though it's a top 25 city. There is, and I'm blanking, Red Iguana, the Mexican restaurant, is the place that when I'm going through Salt Lake, I stop there to eat, right? I go to the OG location. But when you look what's happening in Salt Lake City right now, a lot of brew pubs, a lot of food trucks, and what that means, young entrepreneurs who believe that their success financially and their passion is tied to food. When you see that happen, that is the tip. Everyone says, Andrew Zimmern, how do you say in 5 years the food scene in Salt Lake City is going to be vastly improved? Because when you see that happen, those young people are all going to make money and start more food establishments, restaurants, things like that. It's going to improve the food scene there radically. Funeral potatoes is what Salt Lake City has been known for the last 100 years. And I think 10 years from now, nobody's going to be talking about funeral potatoes.
You hear that? Zimmern says Salt Lake City food scene's on the rise.
100%.
All right, as long as people are dying here in Utah, we will have funeral potatoes. Party potatoes, sometimes if you bring them to a party. Join us tonight, 6:30 on KUTV for our Road to Las Vegas special. From the attractions to the celebrities, weather, everything if you're heading down for the festivities, we'll have you covered. And even if you're staying at home, we'll have some helpful ideas to make sure the big game is extra special. You can watch Super Bowl 58 this Sunday on KUTV Channel 2. And if people want to get out and go skiing, it's going to be a gorgeous weekend for that with lots of new fresh powder.
Exactly, but very, very busy, so keep that in mind if you're headed up into the mountains.
All right, pro tip from Trent. Thanks so much for watching.